Hello, my name is Allison and I grew up in the USA, but now I live in Colombia. Wonder how that happened? Well, it started out on my best friend Meg's 15th birthday. But before I get into that, let me tell you a quick story. Once, when I was about 5 years old, my mom invited some of her lady friends for brunch, and one of them had a little girl about my age. They put us together to play, and we got along just fine, until the little brat took my favorite stuffed animal, Bunny. I grabbed Bunny and tried to yank it from her, but she hugged it tight. "Give it back now!" She shook her head and hugged Bunny tighter. "It's mine now!" I lost it and bit her little finger so hard I drew blood. She dropped Bunny and called out for her mommy, crying at the top of her lungs. Her mom was petrified and told my mom that she was raising an animal for a child. That was the last time I ever saw them again. Since then, my parents and I moved from place to place because of their work. After saying goodbye to too many friends and crying every time we moved, I promised myself to never make any friends because what was the point? However, I broke that promise when we moved to California and I met Meg. She was pretty and popular, and being in her circle was everything. A few days after I started at my new school, she invited me to sit with her during lunch, and I couldn't believe my luck. I heard that some girls had been waiting for months to be offered a place at Meg's table. The first time she came over to my house, I could tell she was impressed, even though she tried to play cool. After that, Meg developed a taste for expensive stuff. She took me to all the high-end clothing stores, and we had so much fun trying on clothes. There was one thing, though. She never paid for anything. I did. But I didn't mind. My parents were loaded, and I desperately wanted to please Meg. On her 15th birthday, I was so excited. I wanted to get her the best and most priceless gift in the world, so I asked my mom about it.
Just buy her something she would like, Allie.
But Mom, I've already bought her so many things. I want just one thing money can't buy. Something special. Any ideas?
Well, in that case, my darling, make something beautiful and thoughtful for her. Like a scrapbook with all your photos, maybe. I know you kids these days like to take photos. Use those.
Mom was right. I spent hours printing all our favorite photos together, cutting out other side decorations and putting everything together. When I was done, I wrapped the gift in a beautiful orange ribbon, her favorite color. I couldn't wait for her to unwrap it. She was going to love it, and we'd be friends forever. Right? Wrong. Meg took one look at the scrapbook and went off.
Seriously, Allison?
She looked so offended by the gift. Don't you like my gift, Meg? I made it with so much love. It's all our best memories together.
Am I a joke to you, or are you just a cheapskate, Allie?
Where is all this coming from? You're my best friend, and I wanted to show you how much you mean to me.
And you concluded that I am worth a stupid scrapbook? Honestly, Allie, you could have bought me anything you wanted with all the money your mommy and daddy have. This is so embarrassing.
I watched in horror as she ripped pictures from the scrapbook and threw them into the fireplace. Everyone started laughing and pointing fingers at my sad face. I was so heartbroken and hurt. Meg was supposed to be my best friend, but she was humiliating me in front of everyone just because I didn't buy her an expensive gift. What she didn't know was that I had another gift for her. It was an expensive baseball bat that my dad had bought her after I told him that she loved baseball. It had even been signed by her favorite player. I'd hidden it and planned to surprise her sometime during the party. In a fit of rage, I ran and grabbed the bat and then came back and smashed everything I came across. I got a glass cut on my arm, but the pain could not surpass the heartbreak and humiliation Meg had just put me through. I will never forgive you, Meg. Meg laughed and started chanting, "Psycho, psycho," and soon a few others joined her. That made me angrier, so I went for the mounted 75-inch TV and smashed it over and over. Meg looked scared now. I wasn't done. I broke the coffee table and then went into the kitchen and smashed into anything I could find. When I had had enough, I dropped the bat and walked over to Meg, who was now too scared to move. I took the torn-up scrapbook and left the party. The following day, multiple photos and videos of me went viral on social media. No one took my side. My parents were so furious, but as always, they threw money at the situation. They paid thousands of dollars to Meg and her parents, and in exchange, they agreed not to press charges. I was worried about showing my face at school, so imagine my relief when Mom told me we'd be moving to a new country entirely. For the first few weeks in Colombia, I refused to get out of my room or even talk to my parents. Mom tried her best to make me feel better, and Dad just threw money at me every chance he got.
Money makes everything better, Allison.
Mom was getting tired of looking after me and begged me to enroll into a new school already, so one day she threatened to drag me back to California to deal with my mess. The thought of facing Meg and the entire school was terrifying. So with Mom's help, I picked a new school and began to prepare myself for day one all over again. I cut my hair, got blonde highlights, and started wearing glasses instead of contacts, so that no one would identify me from the cheapskate videos and photos, if they ever came across them. I even banned my parents from driving me to school, and instead, I went to school on a scooter. I became friends with Michael, a nerdy boy who smiled at me the first time I walked into class. I was skeptical at first, but soon realized he was a great guy. I went to Michael's house a couple of times, and his parents were nowhere near as rich as mine, so every time he asked to come to mine, I always made up excuses.
Why do you never let me come to your house, Allie? You've been to mine.
It's not that I don't want you to come with me, it's just...
It's just what?
My parents, they're pretty weird and they don't like it when I bring people over. When he kept insisting, I showed him some ugly and old house and made him believe that was where I lived. The last thing I wanted was another friend taking advantage of me and my parents' wealth. One day, I rode my scooter home, and just as I was about to open the door, I heard movement behind me. I turned around and was shocked to see Michael standing right there, eyeing me suspiciously.
Whose house is this, Allie?
Oh, this house? You see, it's...
Don't even lie to me, Allison. I have been following you for weeks, and you never really go into that house you showed me. Do you live here?
Okay, fine. This is where I live. My parents are rich.
So why do you pretend that you're not?
It's a long story, Michael.
I have time.
I let Michael into the house, and his expression was priceless.
Wow, Allison, if this was my house, I would tell everyone and throw parties every weekend.
It's not that simple. I explained to him everything that happened with Meg in California and even showed him the videos and photos. So this is why I prefer to keep it a secret. Promise me you will never tell anyone. Weeks went by and Michael and I grew even closer and hung out at my house all the time. I was dying to kiss him, but I was too chicken. One day, however, Michael and I were in my room when I closed my eyes and just went for it. I grabbed his face and planted a kiss on his lips. Michael was shocked. He stammered and adjusted his glasses nervously.
Does this mean you're my girlfriend now?
Aw, he was so adorable. Sure, if that's what you want.
Yes!
We both laughed and barely concentrated on our homework after that. Days later, I was still lost in my own world after that kiss when Bree, one of the mean girls at school, stood over my desk and started looking at me and then looking at her phone. What are you doing? She ignored my question and kept staring at me, which made me so uncomfortable. I got up to leave, but she shoved me back into my seat. What is your problem, Bree? Before I knew it, she pulled my glasses off my face and let out a devilish laugh.
I knew it! You're that girl from that cheapskate videos, aren't you? I knew you looked familiar.
I don't know what you're talking about. I grabbed my glasses and put them back on.
Your parents must be really mean since you dress like that and can't even buy you a car? What a shame.
Shut up!
Or what, little rich girl? Are you gonna break my stuff too?
I pushed her out of my way and ran out of the school before the principal arrived. I was convinced that Michael had told everyone my secret, and even when he tried to explain, I shut him out and told him to stay away from me. For weeks, I hid in my room and missed a lot of classes. Once again, my rich parents pulled some strings and I did my final exams from home. After my graduation, I was accepted into a college in New York and I was thrilled to get a fresh start. Again. The first few weeks of college were peaceful until one day, while rushing to class, I bumped into someone. And when I saw their face, I froze. This could not be happening.
Hello, Allison. Fancy meeting you here.
Meg? I tried to move but couldn't. I looked at Meg and thought I was going crazy. It sounded like her, but her face was red, and there were horns growing out of her head. And was that a tail? I dropped my books and rubbed my eyes, but just then, I felt myself fall and everything went black. When I woke up, I was in hospital and my parents were by my bedside with worried looks on their faces. What's going on, Mom? Dad? The doctor explained that I had developed a strange heart condition. My heart had grown extremely weak and I had only 36 hours to live, unless I got a heart transplant or did something to strengthen my heart. Strengthen my heart?
Maybe fall in love or get rid of anything that is stressing your heart so much.
In 36 hours? How is that even possible?
It would be if you were a better friend.
I turned my head and Meg was right there, holding my hand with a devilish smile on her face. Just then, I felt a stabbing pain in my chest and let out an agonizing scream and passed out again. I woke up later to my mom's voice calling me and nudging me gently to wake up.
Allie! Allie, open your eyes!
What's going on, Mom? I was drenched in sweat and my heart was beating so fast. I clutched my chest and sat up. I touched my face and felt tears.
You were having a bad dream, baby.
What? Where are we?
We're on a flight from California going to Colombia. Remember?
Mom took me into her arms and hugged me. Guys, I'd been dreaming this whole time. My ordeal with Meg had affected me so much that I'd had a full-blown nightmare on the plane because of her. I explained the dream to Mom as the plane landed and she hugged me again.
It's just your subconscious responding to the betrayal, Allison. You're okay now. But you have to promise me not to let anything that happens in California stop you from having a beautiful and happy life. Forget that fake friend. You will meet many more in Colombia.
Maybe even a Michael.
Who's Michael?
I smiled as we got off the plane. I was ready for a new life and a new adventure.
Hi guys, my name is Milo, and I'm from New York. My friends and I were on a plane ride to Hawaii. It was myself, Liam, who was the pilot of the tiny plane and also happened to be my biggest crush, my best friend Kayla, and our other friend Brittany, who I secretly didn't like all that much since I had a feeling she wanted to get with Liam. We were cruising along when suddenly an alarm rang out. What's going on? Liam looked panicked.
The engine, it cut out!
What?
We're going down!
We all screamed as the plane took a nosedive as Liam desperately tried to gain control.
Quick, grab a parachute!
Through all the chaos, Liam managed to hand each of us a parachute. Then he opened up the door.
Get out and pull the string immediately!
I fastened the parachute on, made sure Kayla was all right, then jumped out the plane. As we plummeted down, the wind whipped my hair around so I couldn't see anything. I fumbled for a string, but I couldn't find it. I started to panic. This was it. I was going to die. I would get squished like a berry as soon as I made contact with the ground. But then I felt someone grab hold of me and I looked up to see Liam.
Here!
As we free fell, he had managed to get to me and was now holding my string.
Pull this!
I nodded, grabbed hold of the string while Liam pushed off of me so he would avoid getting tangled in the parachute. I said a prayer and yanked on the string as hard as I could. The parachute opened up and I was now falling much slower, and it all seemed very peaceful all of a sudden. There was an island below us. It looked like a tiny place that was completely uninhabited. I soared down and landed right in a dense jungle. My parachute got caught, so I unbuckled myself and landed on the ground. I looked around. Kayla? Liam? Hello, is anyone there?
Milo, over here!
That was Kayla's voice. I rushed over and found Kayla stuck in a tree.
Help, I'm stuck!
After a while, I managed to untangle her, and then we hugged immediately. I'm so glad you're okay.
Me too. What should we do?
We need to find the others. I think they landed in that direction. We trekked through the jungle for hours with still no sign of the others.
Do you think they're still alive?
My heart dropped at the thought of never seeing Liam again. Liam and his kind smile, his hilarious jokes. No, they're alive. They have to be. We kept going until finally I cried out in relief. Look, smoke! It must be them! We rushed towards the smoke as fast as we could until finally we made it to a camp. There sat Liam and Brittany. As soon as Liam saw me, he jumped up in joy and gathered me in his strong arms.
Oh, Milo, I was so worried.
I was overwhelmed. Liam, the way he was holding me. No, it couldn't be.
I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't made it.
Hey, what about me?
Liam froze, realizing the scene he was making, then put me down and moved away awkwardly.
Oh, yeah. I was worried about you too, Kayla.
Kayla rolled her eyes at me, but I was blushing like crazy. Liam seemed to really care about me. I was so happy, but when I turned to look at Brittany, her eyes were two balls of flame.
What's so special about Milo?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, why do you care about her? When you found me, you didn't even seem that relieved. I wonder why.
Kayla whispered to me, and I stifled a laugh. Brittany noticed my movement and narrowed her eyes at me.
Oh, you think you're just so precious, huh?
What? No.
Everyone hail Princess Milo. Oh, shut up, Brittany. No one cares about...
Liam stepped in and put a hand on Brittany's shoulder.
Guys, please, let's just calm down.
Fine. She strutted away. Liam smiled at me nervously and I smiled back. Something was different about Liam. That evening, Liam asked me if I would help him try fishing on the island shoreline. So I agreed to go with him. I noticed he hadn't asked any of the others, only me. Was this like a date? Just as we were about to leave, Brittany came trumpeting in and stood between me and Liam.
I want to come.
That's okay, Brittany. Milo and I can just...
Oh, nonsense.
Brittany linked her arm through Liam's, hitting me with the other elbow in the process.
The more, the merrier.
I looked at Liam and he smiled apologetically. I sighed. The rest of the evening was terrible. Brittany kept standing between me and Liam whenever she could, and to make matters worse, we didn't even catch any fish. Except for one moment that made my heart tremble. Liam had thrown the net and asked Brittany to go to the other side to hold it. He then asked me to help him hold his side, and as I did, he wrapped his arms around me so we could both hold it together. It was so romantic. I'm pretty sure he could feel my heart beating through my chest, and I think I could feel his too.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
Of course, Brittany had to come running towards us to break us up, but still, the moment had been special. For the next couple of days, we continued on like that. I was worried about whether or not we would survive. It seemed we would be stuck here for a long time, but the way things were going between Liam and I wasn't too bothered about it if I was being completely honest. One night, I was in a tent with Kayla. Luckily, we'd managed to salvage a few tents from the plane wreck the day before. I don't know, it's something about Liam.
What do you mean?
He's acting different around me, like different good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he might like me.
Really?
Yeah, well, what do you think? Kayla pondered for a bit.
To be honest, I don't think he does.
My heart sank. What? Really? I was surprised by Kayla's response. She knew I'd been crushing on Liam for ages. Why would she say that? But
I'm sorry, Milo. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what I think.
I nodded sadly. Yeah, it's all right. It's just, I really like Liam. I've had a crush on him for what feels like forever. I never thought he liked me back. Suddenly, we heard a loud noise outside, and we came running out. Liam was outside our tent, sprawled on the floor. It looked like he'd just tripped over. Liam?
Don't mind me.
How much did you hear? Liam turned red, then he looked at me, then glanced away.
All of it.
I gasped. Listen, I wasn't thinking straight.
No, please, I'm glad you said that.
You are?
Yeah, because I like you too.
I heard Kayla gasp beside me. I was shocked to my core.
You like her?
Milo, do you want to go somewhere else to chat?
I nodded, feeling like I was floating on a cloud. Sure.
Are you sure you don't want me to come?
I looked at Kayla strangely. Why would she want to come? This was the moment I've been waiting for forever.
No, I think I'm fine.
Kayla looked really bothered for some reason. I wondered why. But then, when Liam held my hand and gently led me away, I soon forgot all about Kayla. Liam and I walked in silence at first as we walked deeper into the jungle. Then Liam led me to a cliffside where we had a gorgeous view of the rest of the island and the sea beyond.
I found this secret spot on our first day here.
It's beautiful. Liam looked at me.
Not as beautiful as you.
I smiled. Liam lifted a hand and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. I gulped nervously. Slowly, he leaned in, and we kissed. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever experienced. Later, we went back to the campsite long after the others had fallen asleep. And before I retired to my tent, Liam promised me we'd hang out again tomorrow. Words couldn't describe how happy I was then. The next morning, as Liam promised, we went out for a stroll on the beach. When we returned, Brittany was fuming.
You two just ran off and left Kayla and I to do all of the chores. Brittany, it's fine. No, they can't just act like they're on holiday. We're stranded on an island, for Pete's sake. We might actually die.
I looked down in shame. Brittany, you're absolutely right.
Don't mock me.
I wasn't mocking.
Liam, why would you want to be with this worthless pile of garbage?
Hey, you take that back.
Seriously? But she's so ugly and…
Don't speak to her that way. She's much prettier than you. Besides, I don't even care about that. Her personality is 100 times more beautiful than you.
Brittany looked like a balloon about to pop. Brittany turned on her heel and disappeared to her tent. Liam, Kayla, and I glanced at each other in confusion. Suddenly, Brittany returned with a bucket in her hands. She stormed towards me. I noticed what she had in the bucket. Tons of empty clams. That had been lunch for today.
Do you still think she's pretty now?
With a grunt, Brittany lifted the bucket and dumped the clams all over me. I screamed in horror, while Liam and Kayla shouted at Brittany in annoyance.
Brittany! You should be with me, Liam, not this brat.
Brittany, I cannot believe you right now.
Maybe I should leave.
No, don't leave, stay.
No, really, I'll go. You're running low on fresh water anyway, and Brittany was right. We've been slacking off on our chores. I grabbed a bag and some empty bottles. I'll see you all soon.
But Milo…
I leaned over and kissed Liam on the cheek. Really, it's fine. I'll give everyone some space. I went off and trekked into the jungle. I decided that the fresh water would probably be somewhere in the middle of the island. I headed towards the center, keeping an eye out for any animals, because usually animals meant a sign of nearby water. I walked towards a clearing and decided to sit down and rest for a while under a tree. I closed my eyes and suddenly I heard an alarming crash, and a giant boulder was heading straight towards me. It tumbled down the hill and bounced off each ledge. I bolted to my feet and somersaulted out of the way, mere inches from getting crushed to a pulp. As I looked up, I caught sight of a whip of blonde hair running off. Someone had tried to kill me. They had probably shoved the boulder over on purpose. I was too stunned to even move. I had to catch my breath, but then I realized who it had to be. Brittany. I raced back to the camp as fast as I could. When I arrived, Brittany was sitting by the fire as if nothing had happened. Liam was sitting in his tent and Kayla was nowhere to be seen. She must be at the beach or something. Brittany just tried to kill me.
What?
Yeah, what?
Don't try to deny it.
What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you forgot all about what boulder you just tried to squish me with.
Milo, are you insane?
I've been here the whole time. But who? Liam looked apologetically at me.
I'm sorry to agree with Brittany, but she's right. She's been here since you left.
Then who? Suddenly, Kayla appeared out of breath.
Hey, what's up?
I froze. No, it couldn't be. I decided that piece of blonde hair I'd seen must have been a trick of the light. Maybe no one had tried to murder me. Maybe it was just bad luck. Never mind.
Milo, are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you want to take a walk to clear your mind?
I hesitated, but then I agreed. It was probably a good idea. Sure. Kayla smiled and linked her arm in mine, then we headed off into the jungle. I realized we were heading towards the cliff, where Liam and I had shared our first kiss. As we reached the cliff, I squinted my eyes at the horizon. Was it just me, or was that a boat? Kayla, look!
What is it?
A rescue boat! We're saved!
Oh.
I turned to her gleefully, but the look on her face made me hesitate. Kayla? Kayla turned towards me.
I'm sorry, Milo.
For what?
For this.
Kayla stepped forward, heartless, cold, emotionless, and shoved me. I lost my balance and fell back. The sheer drop was right behind me. I was going to die. But at the last second, I managed to grab hold of a protruding branch. Kayla, help me! Kayla walked to the edge and just stared at me, making no attempt to help. Why are you doing this? We're best friends!
Liam is mine, Milo.
What?
Liam will be with me.
You were the one who tried to kill me with that boulder?
It had to be done. You don't deserve Liam.
But Kayla, we've been friends since childhood. You're going to throw all that away and kill me just for some guy?
Liam is not just some guy.
Kayla took a breath, calming herself.
He's much more than that.
You're insane.
No.
Kayla stepped forward, ready to peel back my fingers and send me to my doom.
Ah!
Kayla reached over, but suddenly someone leapt forward and tackled her to the ground. I heard commotion as Kayla and the person that I assumed was Liam fought. Finally, I heard my name called. Liam, yes, I'm here. But it wasn't Liam who appeared and pulled me up to safety. It was Brittany.
Milo, are you okay?
Yes, you saved my life. Brittany nodded.
Of course. Listen, I'm sorry for the way I've been behaving. It's not right. I hope you can forgive me.
Of course I can. Suddenly, Liam appeared from the jungle, panting.
Milo, I heard screaming. Are you okay?
Yes, Kayla tried to kill me.
And I'll do it again.
Suddenly, Kayla appeared, clearly not unconscious, and charged at me like a bull. At the last second, I leapt out of the way, and Kayla went flying over the cliff edge, disappearing into the ocean below. We stared over the edge, lost for words. Kayla was gone. Later, we hailed down the boat with a fire to signal them that we were here, and when we boarded and sailed away from the island, I was hit by overwhelming sadness. Kayla had been my best friend, but she had also been my attempted murderer. As I stared at the island, I suddenly gasped. On the shore of the island, waving back at me eerily, was a girl, and I was pretty sure it was Kayla.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sparkle, quick! Take a look before my daughter runs out!
Mom always jumped up like a pigeon whenever she saw one of our neighbor's kids on TikTok, and she just loved comparing me to other kids who showed off their talents on social media.
Did you hear her voice? She's definitely going to be a star one day. Don't you want to be a star? All these books you're reading is not going to make you famous.
Books give me knowledge, Ma. There is nothing more important than knowledge.
We should be proud that our daughter is a genius. Shh! Do you want everyone to know that our daughter is a Miss Know-It-All? You know Mr. Mafia runs this town. If he finds out that she can calculate sums faster than him, we will be humiliated in front of the entire community.
Hello everyone, I'm Sparkle from the Philippines. Please like and subscribe to STA, where the best storytelling is made. Because I was born a genius, my teachers loved me to bits, and sometimes even let me lead their classes. I simply loved books, learning and teaching other kids, but not everyone was interested in books in my hometown. Being popular on social media is what everyone wanted.
Hey everyone, take a look at the new video on TikTok.
Hey, phones away. If you want to pass the test, pay attention to Sparkle. Her method is actually simpler.
Many kids looked up to me in school and had a lot of respect for me. But there was this one boy who always got on my last nerve. He was the son of the big bad Mr. Mafia who ruled our hometown. During recess or whenever he saw me, he was a pain in my neck, and his name was Tiger. Like, who names their kid after an animal?
Hey, smart girl. I have a ton of homework due on Monday. You can do it since you're the smart girl.
Hey, Tiger Breath, I'm not your servant. Ask your dad to hire a tutor, since your family takes 20% of everyone's hard-earned money.
Hey, how do you know what my family does?
It doesn't matter. I am the smart girl after all, so I guess I know everything.
Well, if my dad finds out that you're acting too smart for your shoes, there will be a price to pay.
Tiger's dad was a big businessman in town, and everything he did was against the law. He disliked anyone who knew more than him. And his bimbo son kept blackmailing me to do his homework, or else he will tell his evil father that there is a genius in town. I couldn't risk that, because my dad, who worked as a fish packer at the local fish market, would lose his job. I loved my dad so much, and would do anything to protect him. Mom was always so negative towards Dad because of his job title, the fish packer.
The air was fresh as pie while you were slaving away at that fish place. When will we ever buy a car like them folks across the road? Why do you always have to compare us to everyone else? Maybe if you could appreciate what you have, a car will fall from the sky. Oh, my family was right about you. You will always be nothing. Well, at least I try my best to pay for everything.
Why do you have to be so mean to Dad? He just got back from a long, tiring day.
You and your father are the same. I'll never be happy in this family unless we start our own show, like the Kardashians.
We're just a family of 3, and plus I don't want to be famous.
Fine, maybe I should start shopping for a new family. Oh.
When I finally fell asleep that night, I shot my eyes open again at the sound of screaming outside.
What the freaking flies is up with these idiots?
Everyone stepped outside of their homes and followed the ruthless gang, because this was Mr. Mafia's way of calling a meeting in the middle of the freaking night. So we all stood around looking like puppets, waiting to hear what the beast had to say.
Good evening, good people. I am sadly here at this hour because someone from your neighborhood forgot to pay their taxes.
Anger boiled up in me as this man spoke. He had no right taking from all these innocent people. Everyone remained silent.
Fine. If the culprit will not present himself in the next 5 minutes, then no one will sleep tonight or until the person comes forward.
I took deep breaths to hold myself from speaking my mind, and then a nerve struck, and I couldn't take it any longer.
The hardworking people already pay their taxes to the government. If we all stand together and lay a complaint to the High Court, Mr. Mafia will be charged with treason.
Dad held my hand, while Mom held her head in shame, and then the wicked Mr. Mafia stood face to face with me.
You're just a little girl. How dare you disrespect me?
You disrespect every one of us every day, Mr. Mafia. I know what's right and wrong, and what you're doing is beyond wrong.
Please, forgive my daughter. She has this condition where she just opens her big mouth.
So you think you are smarter than me, little girl?
I'm actually born a genius. So yes, I do know a little more than you.
Fine. If that's the case, I'm sure you can stop being the breadwinner of your family. Because as of tomorrow, your fish-packing father will be jobless.
How will we survive now, Miss Genius? Come on, let's go back home. But he hasn't dismissed us. It doesn't matter now. I don't have a job.
I felt bad for Dad, but I knew if I could use the school computers, I would be able to find Dad another job on the internet, out of this town. This was not the end of the road for us. The next day, as I tried to enter the school gates, I was stopped by the security guard.
Sorry, Sparkle. I can't let you in.
Why not?
You was ordered by my dad. I told you there would be a price to pay, but you didn't listen.
I don't know. I was just trying to stand up for everyone.
Well, no one stood up for you, and now all your knowledge will go to waste. My dad is very powerful, and he has more money than you can ever imagine. You should have just stayed in your lane.
Tiger sounded almost like an intelligent person speaking. He surprised me. I guess his dad controlled him too. I couldn't go back home because Mom would talk too much, and I wanted so badly to help my dad find another job. As I walked in the mall, I stopped outside a glass window where there was a line of television sets inside the store, and the news was on. And then it struck me. The media! Mr. Mafia can never be more powerful than the media! I ran back home and tried to avoid Mom, but she had no mercy.
Why are you back so early, troublemaker? Do you know that I can't even sit outside on my porch and drink a cup of tea without everyone looking at this poor house? Why was I cursed with a child like you? Oh, please, you were being so dramatic. I'm proud of what she did. That man treats everyone like a doormat. Someone had to stand up to him eventually.
And don't worry, Dad. I have a plan. Everything will be okay. Later that evening, I used Mom's binoculars to spy on our neighbors. I needed strong Wi-Fi access, something we were not privileged with. I know it was wrong, but I had to get their password. Once their lights were off, I ran downstairs with my heart pounding at the thought of breaking into someone's house. But I managed to see a loophole. The neighbors had a window which they struggled to close, so it was left slightly open. I took a deep breath and went in.
Okay, here goes.
When I was finally inside, I was lucky to find the laptop on the dining table, and I was even more relieved when it didn't request a password. I quickly found the Wi-Fi code, and just when I was about to make my exit, I heard something viciously growl at me.
Nice, doggy.
I totally forgot about their dog, and if I wasn't so busy with my books, just maybe I could have been the dog's best friend by now.
I'm sorry, doggy, but I need this code. Please let go now.
I looked into the dog's eyes, almost pleading with her, and by some miracle, she let go of me and out I went. The password worked. It was the only way for me to start my own social media platform on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I couldn't sing or dance or do anything entertaining, but I could speak my mind, and this is what I did.
Every child has a right to an education. Although I was born with a brain that is qualified to be a professor of science, math, and literature, I still need to go to school. In my hometown, everyone is afraid, but fear grows because of a lack of knowledge. We all deserve the right to speak our mind.
My video went viral, and the next day when I woke up, I had reached more than 1,000 followers. And then Mom screamed out my name as if there was a fire.
Sparkle!
When I went downstairs, I found Tiger and his dad there. Mr. Mafia didn't look too happy.
What game are you playing at, little girl?
Oh, so I'm guessing you saw my social media video. Soon the whole world will know what a horrible man you are.
I think it's time you leave my house, Mr. Mafia.
Dad bravely stood up for me, and then Mr. Mafia suddenly pushed Dad to the ground, and before he could pounce on Dad, Tiger held him back.
Dad, let it go! Don't tell me what to do! Have you learned nothing from me, son? But if you leave people like this to walk all over you, then you will be taken for a ride down the pit of Loserland. You need to learn to take control.
I felt kind of sorry for Tiger. No wonder he was such a jerk at school. His father raised him to be mean.
Sparkle, I told you before my dad is very dangerous, and he can get you and your family banished from this town.
But he has already made our lives so difficult. I'm not even allowed to enter the school gates. No one will hire my dad. So how will we survive?
This is all you're doing. Why couldn't you be like all the other girls? Quiet
and famous, beautiful, naive? When will you ever accept me for who I am, Mom?
I have a plan on how to help you. Meet me at the park later this evening.
I didn't know if I could trust Tiger, but I needed any sort of assistance to get Mr. Mafia off my case. Dad insisted on accompanying me for my protection. We both waited nervously, and then Tiger appeared.
You brought your father along? You don't trust me? Of course we don't trust you, boy!
Dad, calm down. Tiger is not his dad. You're much better than that, right?
I don't know about that, but the only way you and your family can be protected from my dad's wrath is if you leave town or you help him make more money.
I will not help your dad make any illegal money.
Yes, I second that, so we might as well leave town.
And go exactly where, Dad? The house we live in belonged to Grandma. Are there any other family members out there that will take us in?
Look, you won't be making money illegally. My dad wants to know how to trade, but we don't understand all the information or the tactics of trading.
I don't know anything about trading. And besides, your family owns several businesses. Plus, you take money from the poor. Why does he even have to trade?
That's my dad. He always wants more, and then the more is never enough.
I found it ridiculous, but after discussing with my dad, we agreed that I would help him every day after school on condition that my dad gets his job back. So after Tiger spoke to his father, he agreed to the plan and I was allowed back to school. Everyone missed me, and I missed them, and Tiger seemed to appear everywhere.
Hey, Sparkle,
What? Do you need me to do your homework?
I'm glad you're helping my dad. Everything is going to be fine now.
Okay. Are you sure that's all?
Yes. I have to go now. Bye.
Tiger acted strange, and after school when I was at his massive mansion, he was nowhere to be found. It was just me and Mr. Mafia.
So, Sparkle, did you study all the information on how to trade?
Yes, I did, and I think it's very simple.
Good. Here is my laptop. How much do I start with?
Let's start with the entry level and then see how that goes.
I allowed you into my house because my son says you can help me make billions. So let's see.
This was a lot of pressure. What would happen if I don't make enough money on his trading platform? I stayed in one spot the whole day trying to make Mr. Mafia more money.
So, how much did you make today?
$50,000.
50? Oh wow, you are a genius. I'm keeping you forever.
Haha, very funny. It's late, I need to go home.
My son is outside waiting. He will drive you.
When I was in the car with Tiger, he looked very uncomfortable to be around me. Something was definitely up.
Okay, stop the car! What? Are there cops behind us? What happened?
You! What's up with you? You were weird at school, and you're weird now.
Nothing's wrong.
Tiger, you are not your father. I can see that you want to be a good person. Please tell me what's going on.
My dad is trying to make more money so he can buy the school land and start an illegal oil factory. And he spoke to your mom today. We will be married after we complete high school.
My jaw dropped speechless, and then anger started fuming inside me like a chimney on fire.
What the freaking chihuahua? Your dad is so evil! And I'm sure my mom gladly agreed to the wedding proposal, but I will not marry you.
Oh, is there something wrong with me? My dad always says I'm a good for nothing. I can be better.
Tiger, it's not you. We are still so young and their plan is so ridiculous. They can't just plan our futures like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Tiger was a boy who was put down by his father all the time. He didn't love himself, and when I moved his hair away from his face, I was taken back at how gorgeous his eyes were. Wow, you have beautiful eyes. I never noticed before.
My dad says they're girly eyes.
No, I love them. I wasn't madly in love with Tiger. I wanted him to know that I cared.
I can help you expose my dad for all the illegal things he's doing.
Tiger was willing to put his father in prison. I guess he too had had enough of his narcissist power trip. Tiger and I were on a mission during the Katawayan Festival to bring Mr. Mafia's corruption to an end. Tiger showed me where his father's secret office was. He started by opening an old rusty door outside a very creepy building. Are you sure we're safe here?
I got you. I won't let anything happen to you.
I felt instantly attracted to Tiger when he sounded so brave. As soon as we were in, Tiger immediately went to the bookshelf and pulled out a tape.
My dad has been using this tape for many years to blackmail the mayor. That's how he gets away with all the crime and taking people's money. Our town is overdue for a new mayor. This right here is a recording of how the mayor spoke about the real plans he had for the people. All he cares about is himself.
How do you know about this tape?
My dad used to bring me here all the time when I was little, and when I was around 9 years old, I witnessed everything and saw where he hid the tape. He took my childhood mind for granted.
Tiger let me listen to the recording, and the mayor was planning on destroying many educational facilities so that he could make more money by building hotels for tourists. I was so mad. Tiger, I know just how we are going to expose your father and the mayor. Tiger and I were lucky enough to get out of that dingy place without anyone seeing us. I took him back to my place, and thank goodness the house was empty because Mom also loved all the festivals.
Hello, fellow citizens. Today, most of us shall receive our freedom and the bad people will be locked away. Before I show you what our mayor really feels about us, I want to say only this. Education gives you power to make a better world, and money gives you the power to control our better world. But enough is enough.
Tiger and I exposed the mayor and his dad through social media, and justice finally played its part. Our communities were no longer forced to give away their hard-earned money unnecessarily, and I could have been a doctor, a scientist, or anything I wanted, but I chose to teach. I loved sharing my knowledge and making everyone's future bright.
All right, everyone. I want you all to put your hands together for our special guest at school. Welcome, Mayor Tiger.
He sure did look fine in a suit, and as he was giving his speech to the students, he suddenly stopped and took me by surprise.
There's a new movie that came out recently. If you're free on Saturday...
Yes, I'd love to go out on a date with you.
Thank you, my first lady.